Although the Thompson twins look identical, their games are unique and they bring different things and roles to the table. A listed 6'7", 215-pound wing with a 6'10" wingspan and the winner of all 4 MVPs over OTE's last 2 seasons, Ausar is a high-level athlete, defender, and playmaker who plays well without the ball, and his feel stands out among the rest. You have some of the scoring flashes and progression he's shown as a shooter, and you have a potential high-level contributor in the mid to late lottery, even with some of his rawness and the newness of the OTE program as a whole. And we'll start on defense because Ausar has a chance to be one of the most impactful defenders from this draft and ultimately a real positive in the league. On the ball or at the point of attack, he can be suffocating using his lateral quickness and great instincts to beat a player to the spot both in the half court and applying full court pressure to guards. He's got good length, athleticism is obvious, and he had many blocks on ball, being able to rise up quickly. And with all of this, he has the potential to defend and match up with 1 through 3 in the future, depending on how he progresses physically and how a few other things develop. And then in help position, he's super active, averaging over 3.5 combined blocks and steals, frequently playing passing lanes and making help side rotations at the rim and turning those moments into transition buckets, which is of course where he and the Twins as a collective are at their absolute best. There are some real things he'll need to fix or cut out to maximize his talents here, but from what I saw both in the 2 years of OTE games and other competitions he played in against more established pros, Ausar showed a lot worth betting on defensively, and he could be a real game changer.
You'll be seeing a ton of him tonight. Second in the rip.
In the face of a veteran Omaha Blue Crew roster. They still lead by 4. On their home floor.
Big. Rob has it. Dancing a little. Oh. Contested. Gets blocked. Ausar kicks it to a
situation for Thompson though.
Oh, contested.
Gym reps. They love this. They love playing defense.
Another turnover.
I mean,
John Ned on the break.
Already.
Hold it, Thomas.
Ball gets stolen. That's not fair. Oh, another steal. Ausar.
Fayetteville, North Carolina. And Ausar Thompson's pushing it to amend.
And Gilder. Swallowed up.
Perimeter defense.
Jordan Burks, you got to have a big night for them.
Oh, gets it. Oh my God! Rebounds, nothing goes.
All right, that might be a fact.
Foster. Euros blocked by Ausar Thompson.
I definitely.
Man, I can see it coming.
A lot of scouts in the building.
There is.
You know what I'm saying?
Oh my
People
God.
like right now, they in the lanes like toys.
That's
Bryce Griggs.
Oh.
That's going the ball here. That's Malik going to work though.
Yeah, there was a.
He's also a high-level athlete, and it's a big part of his appeal. He measured a 42-inch vertical at the OTE Combine in 2021, and though he doesn't often show it off on highlight dunks and would seemingly rather conserve his energy there, he's very much capable, and you can see it when he decides to flip that switch. He doesn't need much of a load up, he's a lob threat, great in transition like we mentioned, and I think he'd probably stand out a little more as an athlete if he wasn't playing next to and naturally being compared to a man. The straight line speed is there, he runs lanes well, he turns defense into offense with regularity like we mentioned. Overall, he's in the upper echelon of athletes in this class, and that would also be the case in most others.
Okay, not quite.
Tyler Smith having a kind of slow start.
Ausar. Ausar.
That's not fair.
A man to Ausar.
Wait.
We got Ja'Kai Howard in the game. Oh, are you really you? What? No. Full court pass. Ausar.
Now, one of my favorite parts of Ausar's game is his ability to play off the ball and specifically his cutting. He's on the short list of best cutters in this class if he's not the absolute best, showing great improvisation and ability to read plays and find cracks in a defense. And of course, when you have that athleticism and ability to rise up that quick, it makes you even more dangerous, particularly as a lob threat. His ability to play off of others and find a way to be effective without major ball handling duties is part of his appeal and the role that I think he'll fit into most naturally. Now, his shot will be key in unlocking his full abilities off the ball, but I expect this to be something he does well, especially if he's next to some other great playmakers. Ausar's ability to make plays and read the floor has been evident over the last few years across different roles, and while I don't think he'll be a primary playmaker or point guard at the next level, there's a lot of value in being that connector or being able to make a play in a variety of situations. He's got a very good feel and awareness of his options, whether that's off of his own drives, some reps in the pick and roll, or just within the flow of the offense, but he really shined in transition, doing everything from throwing some unbelievable outlets immediately after getting the rebound or a loose ball, to running the break himself and taking advantage that way, or with little touch passes. The speed he processed a lot of this was next level stuff, and though he won't have as many of these opportunities in the open court in the NBA, it shows what he's capable of and just comes back to his feel for the game.
Very confident out the gate.
Oh, yeah.
And the fact that they can just run guard, too. Man. Malik Bowman, 3.
Wow. Queens, 7th point.
Oh, man.
Bryson.
That's what it looked. It looked like all their energy left. Oh, man. Oh, man. Oh!
That's Ausar Thompson.
And one.
Into
There
the
we
man.
go. Almost like he just didn't pull it off tonight.
Yeah.
Like, he usually does. Just going 0 for 20.
That's not true. That's
Right?
not true. That's not true.
If Davis is off. Oh, my goodness.
And the Reapers going the other way.
Tip doesn't go. Ausar comes down with it. Football. Gets the rebound, gets picked off. Ausar to a man. Alley-oop. Ryan Bewley.
This right, it's over.
Oh, man.
Trey Parker.
Oh, how much help?
Nah, the IT Jordan Brooks duo might be it. I'm not gonna lie. The calf raises. Hot pass. What in the Stephen Curry? Ausar pushing the tempo, fast break. Another one to Ryan.
Be a lot better. Gotta be a lot better.
What do you think about people? Oh, you got to dunk there.
Sometimes. Yeah, we got 2 of them.
John Ned inside. Wow.
It's gonna take a few to go down. Oh, that's a dom.
It's a Ryan.
Now moving on to the improvement areas, shooting is going to be key in the growth of Ausar's game as it is for men's, but it is for different reasons and they are at different stages of their development as shooters. For a more natural wing and non-primary, being able to knock down, catch and shoot threes is especially important for being a threat and keeping a consistent offensive impact, so continuing to get better here is going to be key for him. But the way that he improved as a shooter this year was excellent to watch and shouldn't go unnoticed, going from 22% on about 2 attempts to 33 on around 5 and shooting nearly 40% in the playoffs. And more importantly, he has a much more consistent and fluid motion mechanically. It's much less noisy, especially with the leg kicks and footwork, and the hand placement's better. So there's a good number of reasons to buy him, getting at least around league average in the future. Now he had a rougher start to the season. The job is far from finished, but he's a whole lot further along than he was last year. If he can knock down shots here consistently, draw even the slightest closeouts, it opens up a lot and even minimizes some of the things that he's not great at.
3.
Show me some. Oh.
Cross court to Ausar. 3. Wow.
Under Armour.
Ausar, another one.
Now we'll shift focus to the rest of Ausar's offensive game. While there's a lot of stuff that I like, it's also still a real work in progress, and especially given his numbers at this level. In the half court, he hasn't created the best driving angles or gotten all the way to the rim as regularly as you'd like to be more of a primary or share major creation responsibilities. And when he has gotten there, he struggled to finish in traffic versus set defenses at around 50% total and 40% on layups. Both the Twins' finishing numbers were lower than you'd expect, but the ease in getting there and explosiveness wasn't there in the same way for Ausar.
Ausar, all the way.
Run it.
That looked like when you hit square on accident, like you accidentally take a shot on 2K. How in the world? Oh, okay.
Thornton on the floor, I think, is really, really important for this team.
I feel like when you're playing at the rec, you could probably leave people open because they all suck. But on this court, man, that's an awful business.
Now, I'm still fairly confident in his touch and overall athleticism putting it together in the end, and I do think the spacing led to some tough attempts and turned some drives into pull-ups. He is still able to make some things happen as a driver. He's got a good first step, and I've been really impressed by his handle at that size and how he's able to string moves together quickly and create an initial advantage. So while he most naturally fits into that off-ball role and in situations you can get him on the move or in semi-transition, the combination of the handle, NBA spacing, and potentially being able to at least draw mild closeouts as a shooter should give him room to operate and convert there a little more consistently.
Love to see him talk his talk. Ausar!
Definitely got a lot of easy buckets. Oh man.
Ausar! Foul was called.
Is Jay Lou coming to replace Bryson?
Ausar, good strong move.
Now, he's not very effective at it yet, but I've liked a lot of what he's shown on a perimeter, again in his handle and growing comfort on pull-ups. But considering how low the percentages still are at this stage and the level he'll need to be at to earn those responsibilities, it's hard for that to be like a focal point of his appeal or to build him as like this true wing scorer. But at the same time, the upside is immense and you just can't completely ignore or rule out some of this stuff coming to fruition. I do think the contrast here between he and his brother makes it feel like he's great at those things when he's actually still developing too, so I'd be thinking more long term in this aspect.
To Ausar, 5 on the clock.
You better let it fly.
Step back 3, Ausar! Buckets back. That's Ausar, thought about it, step back.
Wait a minute.
What? Donette playing defense on Ausar. Good step. Wow, what a finish.
Is taking good shots. Eli gonna take good shots.
Ausar, mid-range.
Okay, all right. That's rich coming from Davis. Ausar,
11 points so far this game.
About 8 of them in the first quarter.
Chair back.
The rim is still shaking. Ausar.
Tough lineup. I mean, you put.
this is a mismatch. No screen necessary. Ausar, bucket.
And finally, defensively, he's still got to be more consistent and disciplined in certain areas. I probably sound like a broken record saying that, but with OTE and the Twins especially, this is a point of emphasis to maximize that elite talent and potential. He has a habit of standing straight leg rather than being in more of a traditional stance, being somewhat disengaged and also being lax in his ball screen defense, and it led to too many avoidable advantages given up, especially considering what it looks like when he is locked in. The gambling I don't too much have a long-term issue with. I think the egregious ones and trying to poke the ball out from behind without at least peeling will get cut out in an NBA system naturally, but at the end of the day, he's a defensive playmaker and you kind of got to let them have some freedom to an extent. He can also continue getting stronger and adding weight just to handle some of the bigger, more prominent wings in the league, but overall, he's got some special tools and abilities. It's just about being more disciplined and paying more attention to detail in a league where the athletic advantage won't be as large and everyone is a threat.
This is the biggest lead I've ever seen in OTE history.
In the first quarter, at least. Devontae Cobb,
There you
rim
go.
in and out,
Got that.
rebound, nope.
Ausar is a very interesting player to project in this class. He checks a lot of boxes as an athlete, defender, and playmaker, and just in his abilities to play off the ball and complement others. And for that, I think that'll lead him to being a contributor. It's just what caliber, and that'll be dictated by his progression as a shooter, and then to a lesser extent what he can make real or substantial out of the creation. But again, high-level defensive wing who can make a play for others and finish plays offensively, that's a very valuable player that is everywhere around the league, and that overall upside will likely land him somewhere between the mid to late lottery. Landing spot wise, I like him in Portland, though the Dame situation is still kind of in the air. Charlotte makes a lot of sense, and then he kind of fits the MO of what the Thunder have been building too, and I put the Pacers in the mix also. I really couldn't find a comparison that I liked for Ausar, but I think something like Andrew Wiggins in Golden State works. He's a bit smaller and definitely more talented as a passer, but high-level defenders who are great on the move and can create something in spots, knock down a shot, is a potential outcome. Ausar Thompson has a lot of things to like as a player in his defense, athleticism, and feel for the game, and it's a combination that will likely end up contributing in a winning way. He does still have some work to do offensively and may not be a key creator in an offense, which lands him more mid to late lotto for me, but he's a high level talent and I'm as interested in watching how he develops as anyone else in this entire class.